How's it, everyone? Now's the time you've all been waiting for. That promised rice cake recipe that I told you about. This one's going to be a savory one. I'm dressed in my tennis gear because I'm actually going to be playing my son Aiden later this afternoon. Tennis match. But what we need is a bowl, some brown sugar, a grated for the Parmesan cheese, sushi rice, 500 grams of rice, by the way. A bowl for the eggs, quarter of a cup of balsamic vinegar, Parmesan cheese, 50 grams of ham, 8 eggs. So I'll get into the cooking now, and I'll also talk us through about some of your questions you had while I'm doing the cooking. So I hope you guys enjoy and check this recipe. This can be used mainly in the, depending what kind of person you are. I'll do a sweet recipe probably a little bit later in another video, but this is kind of my go-to, what I enjoy on the bike. So hope you guys do too and find it insightful. So, what do we first got to start with? First we're going to start with cracking these eggs. Get these eggs, I hate doing this job. This is the worst job, cracking some eggs with you. Well, actually one person asked, do I rely just on heart rate monitors, or what do we use, power, cadence? We kind of use all of them. Sometimes to train differently or to switch training up a little bit, try and use something a little bit different. Not rely on one sort of metric to measure the day's performance, or sometimes you rely on all of them together. I wouldn't say guys get out there and just train on cadence. It's either heart rate or power based. We use all of them, and we kind of looking for a fork it, man. Then you wanna fork and whisk these things, give them something to be happy about. What we're gonna do first, guys, we're gonna actually do the eggs, and we're gonna do the ham. In a little board here, little boardkey. Check this bad boy. Get this big puppy out. Just kind of take my 50 grams of ham there. This is not the highest quality. This is not like Joselito or something, It's just a little piece of ham. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna chuck some olive oil in the pan. Oh, you know what else? Don't put guys, I can also teach you some safety while I'm doing this. Don't put a plastic board on the hob, because that won't end well. So I nearly caused a fire here at my house just talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm gonna chuck that in the sink for my wife to wash later. I'm just joking. I'm not serious here. Questions was, what am I gonna do post career? Now I don't know what I'm gonna do post career, but there's a lot of things in the pipeline. I don't know when that's gonna be. I'm not too sure if it's gonna be this year, I don't know if it's going to be next year, I don't know if it's going to be 2 years from now. But actually, while I'm still enjoying my bike, while I'm still enjoying racing, having a great time with the guys, I still feel like I've got a lot to offer. The young guys are good, don't get me wrong, they're good. But as we've seen in the Giro now, we've seen Thomas de Gent winning, we saw Phil Gilbert winning as well. So I'm quite stoked to see those guys, the older crop, the older guys that are raced with, still winning races. Now we're going to chuck our eggs in. We're going to just cook it nice and slowly, guys. We're going to just keep it going. What I will say is that I did invest in a nice pan a while ago. And then, when people cut the pan, and then it's never the same again. And then I just got tired of buying nice pans, and now I just work with a crappy pan every day. So I'm used to it. So I just keep every day that I cook on this thing, I get so annoyed. You want to make this nice and small. You do want it to be a bit moist, but the eggs need to be cooked through. Maybe I should turn it up a bit here, because I think look at that. You can see it burning already. This pan. So now I think it's well cooked through, guys. I'm going to put this in a little bowl. Okay. There's a bit of stickiness. You know, I could have probably, I didn't give this pan much chance, but you guys will find that funny, eh? Lekker, lekker. Okay, my egg's done. Egg's done. You know, you can sprinkle a little bit of salt. There's a bit of salt, you know. Give it a bit of love. You know, you can always do those things. Now next, the rice. Got to measure 500 grams of rice. 500 grams. You know what I'll do? I'll just squash it like this halfway and I'll take a bit. Because, you know, I don't need to do all these fancy things, you know. Looks about right. That's the way it'll be. Now, probably add a bit of salt in there. That, you know, you can never have rice without some salt. Now, I'm not going to let you guys sit here and watch me boil rice. So, let's wait for this rice to cook. Let's check it out. We'll come back when the rice is done. And then I'll have time to do some homework on some questions. So we've run into a bit of a problem here. I mean, clearly I don't do this often. I will say my wife does this, but she doesn't want to be on camera. So Anne Daly had a question for me saying, I'd like to know what breakfast before a long day in the saddle consists of. So what I do is breakfast is, it's a super big day. We can either have rice and eggs and an omelette, etc. But I like to do some oats, some granola on top, some, you know, some berries, some things like that, particularly because in the races I eat so much rice and so much pasta and things like that. But yeah, a nice big bowl of oats or something like that with a slice of toast on the side. Coffee with a rusk, if you know what a rusk is. I love a rusk. Jeez, you know, the one year I actually got sent a whole bunch of boxes to the Tour de France, and actually people that are coming to watch the race were bringing me rusks. That was great. Dan the man's got a question: do we choose our team coach, or is it selected for us by the team? So everybody any team has got a bunch of team coaches. Now most teams actually have the principle that you need to use the team coach for reasons that the team knows exactly what's going on, that you know, the coach, they believe the coaches they employ are good enough, and they also, you know, they're able to control all the elements. Also the feedback getting back from the coach, they know that the team, the coach is invested in the team, and he's not going to be kind of giving back feedback that shouldn't or isn't warranted. So if a guy's hasn't been training and a coach is from the outside, he could be saying, oh no, he's training really well. But nowadays everything is on Training Peaks, so the team, everybody knows what we're up to anyway. Particularly in Israel, there is an allowance to use external coaches. Obviously they get they have to fulfill a certain requirement. They have to speak to the team. We do have a set of coaches that will still keep in contact with the external coaches, things like that. This rice is taking a beating. I think I've cocked this rice up. Another comment that I found quite interesting, and it actually made a lot of sense to me, was Glenn OC, who actually said he's actually going to take gels with him and, you know, those kinds of things, because it actually takes up less space in his pockets, and that's quite clever, especially on a long day. As you know, you can't take 4 muffins in your back pocket. So I mean, gels is also a great substitute for training. You know, these rice cakes also will give you a fair bit of calories. The exact output I'm not too sure, guys, but it's a fairly decent amount, and you can compact these nice and small, so you can use these as well. As long as you don't burn the rice like I think I'm doing. Troy, and he asked about do I use any like massage guns and things like that, and I do actually got this fancy Hypervolt. Could have actually used this for the eggs, just like kind of got in there, you know. I mean, yeah, you see that? You can use this thing anyway. You can even change the speed. But yeah, it actually feels quite good right now. Shit, my arse is burning. A good tip is make sure your rice doesn't burn. That's a very good tip. There's nothing you can do now when it's burning, I guess. Dried my rice. I think I've strained my rice. That burnt rice I didn't chuck in here, that's for sure. It's going to change the flavour immensely. So I'm going to put my sushi rice here in the thing. I'm going to drop all my eggs now. All my eggs. And I'm going to take my cup of balsamic and chuck that on top. And then I'm going to do my half a cup of soy and I'm going to chuck that on top. And then I'm gonna use my elbow grease. Okay, mix. Oh, this is coming out beautifully. Hey? Yeah, it's doubted me, but it's actually come up a treat. Hey? They come out like a check here. Check there. Hey? How good is that? Now, I'm gonna chuck it straight into my nice little bowl, clear bowl. Then I'm gonna put that in the fridge for a couple hours, let it sit. Gotta actually taste it first. So to see if you'd like that on the bike ride, you know. I've packed it nice and tight. I'm gonna chuck a bit of Parmesan as well in here, just to give it a bit of, I think I'll use the smaller, you know, the little version. Okay. I'm actually gonna mix it back in, I think. Get that Parmesan in the thing. Yeah, that was. Okay, now you've tasted it. It's lekker. Ooh, shit. But too much sugar, but you know what, guys? It can never be sweet enough. So yeah, I'll cock that up a little bit, but chuck some sugar on top. Let it be nice and let it lie lekker. And then put it in the fridge. There you have it, guys. Savoury rice cake recipe. Back to some goodness, some eggs and ham. You can always change things up. You can always add honey. You can always add those extra little elements to it if you don't like the sugar. Change the soy. You can always go to taste. So if you've got some other ideas, chuck them down in the comments below. If you've got any questions, also throw them in there. But yeah, when you guys see this, I'll be in Norway, so getting ready and doing the racing there. But then also I'll have our next update will be after Norway, so after the race, see how things are going in the preparation for Tour de Suisse before I head to Andorra as well for training camp and do all those things. So guys, thank you very much. Keep the comments coming. I love reading them. Even if they're not cycling related, put them there. We try and get the answers. And remember, I'm not going to be eating this whole thing, so freeze some of it. I'll cut up 4 or 5 slices tomorrow, put in some foil, and then the rest I'm going to freeze. I'll first cut them up and then batch them and kind of freeze them in the freezer. And then I can use them probably for the next 5 rides or whatever. So use it, don't use it. Guys, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and be lekker.